Today, on Be Something Wonderful, shift even when your worst fears appear to be manifesting. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Big video today. This comes from a client that I met with in December. And she wanted to share her story of manifesting her wish fulfilled despite her worst fears unfolding right in front of her in her 3D horizontal experience. So her story is that she lives in Asia and she's on a study visa. And that study visa is expiring, or was expiring. This was her story back then, right? And she needed to convert that or get a work visa. She's from Europe, so at the same time she was planning to go visit her family. And already 2 times her visa's been rejected. And then she got the news there was a 3rd time. We're going to talk about this story. And then even after 3 times, she was told that the job, she manifested a job or a job interview to line up so she could get her work visa. She was told that job doesn't match, right? Doesn't match her studies. So hear this. So she was on a study visa, that's expiring. So she had to get a work visa, but she did manifest a job. But then she's told the 3rd time now, the 3rd rejection of her visa, that the job that she manifested doesn't match what she studied, and that she can't get her visa. There's no other way. So now she's facing this idea that she can't stay in Asia. She can't be with her specific person who lives there. Right? There was another, one of the other things that she wanted is to get closer to him and be treated as a priority, right? All of this happening. But she, even despite that, even as she saw this unfold, her worst fears unfolding, that she would have to leave, that she can't stay there anymore, right? Even at that, she moved to the vertical. She identified with her wish fulfilled. She said, Tom, I decided that I'm going to choose again. We're going to talk about these ideas today and more, but when we talk about the vertical, you're a vertical being. You exist in a vertical reality as all identities, as that I am awareness, as all possibilities. You exist in all realities, right? As that limitless, changeless, multidimensional personality. Then you have a horizontal experience, a physical horizontal experience, right? This projection of your hologram, this reflection of your reality, right? This projection reflection. And it appears really solid, which we've been talking about in the last few videos, right? She really felt stuck there when she heard that news. She felt devastated. Right, hear this. Worst fears aren't playing out. It appears fixed. It appears limited. It appears hard to change those circumstances, right? But she remembered that she's actually always in the vertical. You see this. You're having that horizontal experience where you're in the current frame. There's a past of 2 visa rejections. There's a future of living there with her SP, with her new work visa. All of that playing out, but as she was focusing and believing in that current frame, right? Her visa expiring, desperately trying to stay in Asia, right? Manifested job interview, got the job, but she says here, all the procedures still had to be done. Still believing in all the procedures and all the work, right? Trying to be a priority to her specific person. 3 visa attempts rejected. Right? She even says, I was telling the story that the visa process was complicated, right? But during all of that, even as she was having that horizontal experience, she was still able to manifest, hear this, that job, right? Manifest that specific job. So you can manifest and create things, guys. You are a born creator. But to move to that identity, that unlimited identity, is to let go of the solidity of these conditions. It doesn't mean ignore them or try to hide from them. Understand that they're always changing, that there are no facts, there's nothing final. This is what she got. So let's continue with this. And she goes, when I shifted, it was a clear example of how reality changes instantly when you change. These are her words. Even when you feel there's almost no hope, or when it just can't happen like that, the circumstances seem unimaginable, right? So she was visiting, so this is the circumstances. It was a Monday at the end of January. We met in December, where she was talking about still trying to get her work visa, still trying to stay there and be with her SP. And then now we fast forward to the end of January. It was a Monday. She had booked a flight to Europe to visit her family that following Saturday. Monday following Saturday to visit her family. So her visa is approved, and they said when the visa is approved, it will take about 30 days. So she accepted that she would miss her flight and waste some money. But then she got the worst news, that her visa was rejected again. So where she's thinking that her visa will be approved, that it's in process, it was rejected again because her studies didn't match the future job or position that she manifested. Remember, she manifested that job. They said there's no way to accept it. No other company with a similar position would be able to hire her under these circumstances. So she felt locked. Again, there's the frame. Feeling there's no way out, right? When we're trying to manifest, when we're trying to create from within that frame, believing in those fixed conditions, it feels like a struggle. It feels hard. We create some things, we move effects around, but we feel trapped. We feel the pressure of those conditions and circumstances. This is what she was feeling. So remember, this was her experience. She had the past where she manifested a job, where her visa was rejected twice, and she booked a flight home. She's in the current frame where she's told that she couldn't leave and that it would take 30 days to approve her visa. Then she receives the worst case news, the worst scenario, that it's rejected again, third attempt. Right? Here she is in that frame. She said she tried calling after leaving the immigration office. Right? So she thought she was with a friend that was helping her, that spoke the language fluently. She speaks it, but not as fluently as this other person that was helping her. So they thought, okay, we'll leave and then we'll have some coffee and then call. And they were told the same thing. They called 3 times. And so then they both agreed, well, that's it, then you're not going to get your visa. So do you see this? She's in this frame, and what happens? Well, that past frame is here. That current frame moves here, where she solidifies the idea that she's not going to have her visa. And there she is now in her current frame feeling devastated. Can't even see now the imagined frame. She collapsed the possibilities here, saying, okay, I guess that's it. And moved to her current frame of devastation, of powerlessness. Do you see it? There's the horizontal experience, right? Remember, all your possibilities are in the present moment. But if we're believing that this frame's solid, that the conditions are solid, that there's nothing we can do, then that's what you create. So you collapse those possibilities. And there she is now, devastated. Then she goes, I had the shift. Hear this. When I got in the subway, I was feeling powerless and feeling devastated. So she was going to see a friend. And when she saw her friend, a friend told her, well, why don't you call one more time? So she goes to herself, she goes, so this is not, she said to herself, this is not my choice. I have to choose again. So I closed my eyes. And as I sat down and pictured myself ascending into the vertical to choose again. She sat down and pictured herself ascending in the vertical. This is after leaving the immigration office, right? Then calling 3 more times with her friend. Her and a friend agreeing that there's just no way now. Her then getting back on the subway, right? Getting back on the subway, feeling powerless, right here in this frame, feeling powerless and devastated. She says to herself, this is not my choice. I have to choose again. So I closed my eyes as I sat down and pictured myself ascending into the vertical, choosing again her identity, that her visa is approved, that she is working in her new job, that she's with her specific person. 3 subway stops later, there it is. She ascended the vertical, right? She called again, right? Called the immigration number again. This time though, and she was, remember, she was traveling on the subway to see her friend. 3 times later, this time though, I did it from the perspective, look at the wording here, the perspective of accepting all possibilities and all frames of being, all of it. I love this that you use that. Remember, because you're seeing that present moment, reality from a certain perspective or a viewpoint or identity. So she moved to this identity, calling the immigration number again, right? 3 subway stops later, after imagining, calling again. And after she's already been called and rejected 3 times, right? But she did it from the perspective of accepting all possibilities and frames of being all of it. She goes, and then I shifted. She was told there must have been an error because she was eligible for the visa. And after reviewing it, it had been accepted. She goes, Tom, it was a miracle. I shifted then and there. I did it instantly. Hear this, right? So she was in the immigration office with another friend. The visa was rejected because her job didn't match. Her job didn't match her studies. That's what she was told. Left the office with her friend. They called again 3 times. Were told the same thing. Then her and a friend agreed, yeah, it's not going to happen. Right? Then she left. Right? Got on the subway. Feeling devastated. Remember, her worst fears have now manifested in her mind. But then she had then she said, well, that's not, I'm going to choose again. This is not my reality. This is not my choice. And she chose again. She closed her eyes while on the subway, right? Imagining herself ascending the vertical, right? Ascending that vertical. Whatever way she sees the vertical, it doesn't matter, right? Ascending the vertical. And then 3 subway stops later, got off the train to meet another friend. And that friend suggests that, well, why don't you call again? And then instead of just calling this time though, she goes, I did it from the perspective of accepting all possibilities, accepting all frames. She wasn't rejecting anything. She knew that was just a quantum possibility, that she's all of it, that she has ascended in the vertical, right? She knows that she's all identity. And then she shifted, told there must have been an error, that she was actually eligible. After reviewing it, she was accepted. It was a miracle. So what happened here? Remember, here she was in that frame of reality. But that frame is always changing, as well as the past and the future. In your current frame of reality, in your current identity, you're changing all possibilities, all realities in every moment. So as she imagined herself ascending the vertical to choose again, changes the past, present, and future. As she imagined that new identity, that new reality, that new script, that changed the past, present, and the future. Do you see it where the news had to be that there was an error? It had to be an error. Do you see it? Because the past is always changing. And so her past changed. It was no longer a past of her not being accepted, but yet that was an error that she actually was accepted. In that present moment, she changed everything to where her visa was actually approved, to where she actually will be staying and working in her chosen country, Asia. And there's more news on this about how fast this happened. We're going to show you this in a minute. Because remember, as you're in the vertical, you imagine you are the Son of God. You're all identities. You're all realities. Having the experience as the Son of Man in that 3D physical experience where it appears really real and solid and unchangeable. But in reality, it's always changing according to your beliefs, assumptions, identity, what you're identifying with, what you're assuming and believing, affirming of yourself. Because you are all realities. You are all identities. She called the number again. This time, though, she did it from the perspective of accepting all possibilities. Do you see it? All frames of reality. And then she shifted, told there was an error. Wow. She goes, Tom, a miracle. I shifted then and there. I did it instantly. These are her words. I love this. So the new identity and reality where the visa is not only approved, but there's no longer a 30-day wait. So hear this. There was no longer, her visa was not only approved, but there was no longer a 30-day wait. If you remember, it would say it would take 30 days to approve her visa. But then it was rejected because her studies didn't match the job that she had manifested. Right? That was the story. That was the prior reality that she was creating. But it turns out her visa was accepted one day before her flight. One day. It took only 3 days, where the story, the prior reality, it was 30 days. Took 3 days, and so she was able to visit her family. Remember, that was on Monday. 3 days later, she has the visa. She's able, a day before. 3 days overall. I like the idea that it was 3 days because we've talked about that in other videos, right? The biblical meaning of 3 meaning complete. It's done, right? You're in the Sabbath. Your wish is fulfilled, right? Remember the reference to 3. Jesus rose after 3 days, right? Jesus was, when his parents were looking for Jesus, he was lost for 3 days. 3 all over in Scripture, meaning that the time, that Sabbath, that your wish is fulfilled, right? So I couldn't visit, so she could actually visit Spain. She went to visit Spain and her family in January, all because I kept, here's her words, all because I kept choosing, affirming, and claiming that all possibilities, that I would choose, everything is working out for me from the perspective of being all of it. Here again, the difference here. And it's what I've been pointing to in the last few videos over the last week or so, that she's understanding that she's all realities. She's not rejecting any of the 3D experience. She's understanding that it's all changing. So she's seeing things from that infinite identity, right? That all experiences are infinite experiences. None of them are limiting. Not even the experience where the visa was rejected 3 times. That's all coming from that unlimited being that she is. Do you see it? She got caught in that for a little while, right? Feeling devastated, believing in it, right? Forgetting that she's an infinite being and that experience is not, it's not a devastating experience unless you call it that. It's just one possible outcome. And it's one of the infinite outcomes that exist, one of the limitless outcomes that exist. Wow. She goes, now I'm happy doing my job. I feel closer to my SP than I ever have, and there's no issues with money. That's her today, right? Living her dream, shifting even while the worst fears were unfolding, and hear this, even while she was had a feeling of devastation, of disappointment. Do you see it? Those feelings are not reality. You are. So acknowledge them just like she did. She acknowledged that, okay, these are my worst fears, and I'm feeling devastated. I'm feeling powerless. But remembering, I'm getting chills as I talk about this, then remembering that, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and ascend that vertical. I'm going to see myself as that limitless being that I am. And I am going to move to that identity where all things are possible. That I'm going to accept all possibilities, that I am in all realities. Well, imagining living my ideal in my new job with my SP who's prioritizing me and with no issues with money. That's powerful. That really is shifting even when your worst fears appear to be manifesting. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Later this month, April 28th, 2024, we're going to have our 4th live stream of the year to be broadcast on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. That will be on Sunday, April 28th, right here from the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. I'm going to come to you live, answering your questions and topics that you're sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com. Keep sending them. We will have an announcement later today on the community channel, as a posting on the community channel and on our social media. So be sure to follow us there. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/besomethingwonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, or for anywhere on social media at either Be Something Wonderful or Tom Kearin. You can find us. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.